It's the most wonderful time of the year, but it can also be a challenging time for people who've fallen on difficult times. Between the rising cost of everything, food to rent to daily needs, on top of holiday spending, it can be a burden for many people.
That's where the Salvation Army can step in to help. This year, the Traverse City location has a special mission in honor of a special member of the community. And joining us now to talk about the Red Kettles and this year's Ring for Ruth campaign, Envoy Greg Irwin is with us. Hi, Greg. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Hey, I wanted to just jump right in. I mean, we'll talk about Ring for Ruth specifically here in just a moment, but first, give us the lowdown on the Red Kettle campaign. It's a staple of the Christmas season. You also do Christmas in July. So tell us about the campaign itself.
Well, the campaign itself for us, I mean, the Red Kettle campaign goes back to 1906 as far as when it started. Quite a history there. But the campaign for us in Traverse City, and I think for most of the northern Michigan Salvation Armies, it provides over 50% of all the revenue that we will get for the entire year. And so it is just that critical. When we start ringing bells, it's important. And so when we have bad weather days, there's always those things that happen. So I was kind of glad to hear the weatherman was saying not much is coming, not much is happening right now. We love white Christmases, but if we could have just a couple inches of snow between now and Christmas will help us, because it's just that important that we get folks out not only donating to the kettles, but ringing at the kettles, because if there's no one at the kettle, there is no money that comes in.
Now, Greg, you were just mentioning the need of good weather to get out there and raise these funds, but what type of need have you been seeing from the community this year with prices being what they are? I'm sure there's a lot of families in need.
Well, we see it across the board, and I'm going to be honest with you, Eric, it's actually caught us off guard a little bit, because I know with just rent and utility assistance, we put out more than $100,000 over what we did a year ago. Wow. Just in rent and utility assistance, we provided over $250,000 worth of assistance. So that's a strain on the budget.
Yes, it is.
Our food pantry numbers are up. Our community meal numbers are up. And again, as it seemed like things were getting better, it caught us off guard a little bit. And our numbers for Christmas will supply Christmas presents to over 1,200 folks. And so the numbers have actually increased where we thought maybe they'd be more static. So again, I think on the boots on the ground, we're not seeing this relief that we thought we might see. We're hoping and praying that it'll come, but right now, more than ever, we do need the support.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, this year is the Ring for Ruth campaign, a personal friend of yours, personal friend of mine, and to many in the community. Tell us about who you're honoring this year.
Well, Ruth Blick was, and you know her as well, Bill. So Ruth Blick was a guiding light in our community. She was a tenacious lady. I've said numerous times through this kettle season, the only thing that Ruth loved more than her community was her family, and she was just committed to it. And she was tireless in her efforts at Christmas time. And so you don't replace Ruth. No. You just try to backfill, and that's what we've been trying to do through this Christmas season. The community has just stepped up in an amazing way. And so we had a few weeks ago someone that wanted to help us, and then we had a couple of folks that wanted to pitch in and help us. And so we have $35,000 committed, and this started yesterday. The final week of our bell ringing campaign is committed to Ruth Blick. I know her husband, Rich, from talking to him, was almost in tears as he was just amazed at the outpouring and the impact that his wife's life has left, the footprint that it's left. So we've got $35,000 to work with during the most critical week of the bell ringing campaign, and every dollar that's put in those kettles, up to $35,000, will be matched all the way through Christmas Eve when we bring in the kettles for the year.
Get out there, folks. Let's hit that $35,000 mark. And also, this just goes to show the impact that one person can have on the lives of so many people. So many people.
Greg, we're showing some video here, some pictures of Ruth and the bell ringing campaign. Wow. Over the past years, of course, it's getting me a little choked up just seeing the pictures of of Ruth because she's such a wonderful
I
lady.
I never had the honor of meeting her, and
Yeah.
I'm getting choked up here.
She was just
Well, I want to share. I want to give certainly a shout out to Ruth's life and memory and legacy. But I want folks to know her life and legacy and memory are an example of what we all can provide. And I think Ruth would be the first one to say that. We wonder how we can make a difference. You don't have to have any special education. You don't have to have a large amount of money. You just have to have a heart to serve and be willing to go sometimes outside your comfort zone and do things. And she was willing to go outside her comfort zone. And you know what? She would drag me outside my comfort zone as well. That's just the kind of lady she was. So we all can make a difference.
Yes,
A bunch of ordinary people committed to serving one another in love and committed to serving each other, especially at this time of year. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things, and that's just a fact. And Ruth was a living legacy of that.
Yeah, and I know outside of her comfort zone, Ruth did not love being interviewed. We got her to do it a few times, but she usually, she usually nominated you or someone else there in the Salvation Army for that. But it is so great that you have $35,000 in matches in Ruth's name over the next week.
Yes.
That is huge. I mean, you see these red kettles everywhere. Is there somewhere specific people should be looking for those or donating online in Ruth's name? How's that working for the next week?
That's a good point because you can go to satraversity.org and donate online as well. Even at the kettles this year, people say we don't have cash, and we've had more and more people. We have Apple Pay and Google Pay, different things. Now, I don't understand the technology, but you can use your phone and you can donate. I know that some Salvation Armies in southern Michigan, and that'll probably be coming to northern Michigan in the future, have what they call a tap to pay, et cetera. But yes, you can go online and donate. And if you go online and donate in Ruth's memory, that will be matched as well. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
And lastly, Greg, here in just the closing seconds, just remind us of what the money goes for. Obviously, you said more than half comes in the Christmas season, but that money keeps you going year round.
It does. I mean, we provided the Salvation Army of Traverse City alone. We provided $856,000 plus in financial services last year. It's an astounding number for a 3-county area. We serve Grand Traverse, Leelanau, and Benzie County, and that's an astounding number for a community and counties our size. It also goes for day camp. We have day camps we send kids to. We have a summer day camp here. We have community meals and a food pantry. There are just a plethora of services. And I think people usually think of the Salvation Army. Sometimes they think of a thrift store. We have a thrift store as well. And all that money at the thrift store supports our services. But there are so many services that we provide folks year round that they would honestly be kind of lost if we were not able to or had to cut back. So again, this year is so critical. And this week, being able to match those dollars is of paramount importance to us for folks to get out.
Greg Irwin, the Salvation Army there in Traverse City, satraversity.org, and of course we'll share the details on how you can support not only the cause, but in honor of Ruth Blick with the Ring for Ruth campaign. Greg, great to see you. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
The Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign in Cadillac is kicking into overdrive. The campaign is in its final stretch with just a week left. Lieutenant Greg Bach will once again be staying inside that giant, oversized kettle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He started at noon yesterday and will continue through Christmas Eve or until they reach their goal of $200,000. It's part of their annual Red Kettle campaign, and it's their biggest fundraiser of the year.
Campaign started a month ago, and like it is in the Traverse City area, bell ringers outside of those local businesses and organizations in the Cadillac area. So far, they've raised more than half of the goal. The fundraiser helps support the programs in Wexford, Missaukee, and Kalkaska counties. And believe it or not, they still need bell ringers this year. So if you can help out in the next week, maybe got some days off of school or days off of work, you can take the kids out and just give an hour to raise some money. You can go to their website for information.